Hello, this is Ted Goldsboro with another program of Living History. Our guest today is Dr. Patricia Krisch, who has written a book called A House Alive with Words. And we're talking about that book, and we're talking about a program called A Better Chance, the ABC program, where students from the inner city live in Ardmore and they attend Lower Merion High School. So, Patty, we left off with what committees there were for board members.
Yeah, before we do that, I want to make a point, which I don't think we've said, is that kids from Philadelphia have programs they can go to because they don't come to ours because it's too close, but they might go to a program in Massachusetts or Connecticut. So they're not they are eligible for the programs. Okay. We're talking about college guidance.
Yes.
And then a student selection obviously is an important committee. The kids apply to the national program and then they send us applications, and ones that we're interested in, we have the family down for a Saturday or Sunday visit and interviews, show them the program. It's partly our selling the program and partly our trying to assess whether the student will fit into the program and be able to succeed here. And then there's committees that try and promote activities for the kids to do and summer programs.
Okay. But where does the funding for this program come from?
Mostly from a mail solicitation in the fall, and that's really important. And we need to expand our base. We have about 300 contributors. Some grants from foundations, often for specific projects or for work in the house. And the last couple of years, they've been putting on a 5K run in the spring, which is also helpful in terms of building a base for people supporting the program.
Okay. We'll skip expenses because we know that you're going to have expenses when you have a program like this. Let's go over to the racial minority of these students in an all-white, practically all-white. I think about 10% of Lower Merion was African American.
Yeah.
But could you talk about?
Well, most of the kids come from schools where it's mostly black or mostly Hispanic or some mixture and some Asian, but it's rare for them to be at a school with white students. It's probably a little easier for the African American students because there's a historic black population in Ardmore, which is near where the house is, and that's a lot of the other programs don't have that. For Latinos, they're practically the only Latinos in the school, so that's a little harder for them, I think, and it's really important for them to be living in the house. I think one of the important things in writing the book, I realized something I should have realized a long time ago, that one of the most important support systems for the kids is the presence of each other. If a teacher asks them to what's the black point of view on this in class and they feel very uncomfortable, they can come home to the roommate or at dinner where there's 7 other kids and say, oh, do you know what this dumb teacher said? And then other kids know what it feels like. And I realized in talking to the kids for this book how important that is. It's really a very important support. And I think it's different because of the structure they live together. It's different than probably for kids who are in a private school and commuting out.
They don't have that fellowship.
They don't have, I think that's really, and I've heard that from other people.
What do the ABC kids do about breakfast and lunch? If they have dinner together at the house, but what about the other meals?
Well, they're get free lunch and qualify for free breakfast. There's apparently usually a black table at the school, and the kids usually start out sitting there, and then it's very individual. Some kids sit there their whole 4 years. There's a very interesting book called "Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria" by a psychologist, and I think her argument is that's at a time when they're feeling a lot of a minority that it's helpful to sit with kids that feel that way. I discovered by accident, I didn't know this, that they also eat breakfast together at school, and that's something they just, well, going back to the lunch, it depends on, they have like 3 different lunch periods, so that sometimes they can sit with their housemates and sometimes other, and I talk about that in the book. But breakfast, they all sit together. They sit at one table. Everybody's having breakfast at the same time, and apparently they do that through the whole time, and they kind of created this support for themselves. It's kind of like a reflection of the dinner hour, and it was a surprise to me. One of the boys that I had showed some early part of the book to, and he said, "Well, you don't have that in." So I said, "All right, I'll get the tape recorder out," and we sat down and talked about it.
The sticking together, the ABC kids support one another, and I guess there was that incident that we mentioned in the middle of page 16 here, Edwin Aspic. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, one of the students called a kid who's Dominican, Aspic, and was a freshman, I think. He's the one that had the homesick problem. And Elvis, another, who was a couple years ahead of him, found out about it, and he apparently verbally threatened the other boy. Elvis was a good athlete, a big guy, and he had a reputation of, kid was in trouble, he stepped up. He, not physically doing anything, but it having his back.
It showed, the support for one another in the program.
Well, and it's interesting because they can have differences in the house, but in general, and I think staff tend to promote that, is when you're out of the house, treat each other like your brother, and it I think in general works pretty well.
Now we have a program that kind of startles me at first. I wonder if you could put that into context.
Okay, well, I think this is kind of cute. This is about college preparation. This was, this young man was I was his academic advisor, and I was helping him with his college applications, and I wanted to reward him for working hard at it. And so my husband and I took him to, I wanted him to remember it, so we took him to a Moroccan restaurant, and he was very intimidated when we went in, and by the end of the evening he was up dancing with a belly dancer. We put in, as a board, we pay for SAT tutoring, individual tutoring. Sometimes we have access to somebody who's, the boys in the book, Jim Nolan, who's a private college guidance person, did work with our kids. We now have a different system, and then there's usually a board member, somebody on the board or academic advisor will work with the kids through the whole process. And this is very hard because most of these kids, their family, it's they're first in the family to go to college, and it's a complicated process. I found it more stressful than I did helping my own daughter. Because you feel very responsible, and they need a lot of aid.
Can you tell me about this photo of a basketball player?
Okay, well, a lot of the kids do sports, and basketball, hands down, is the favorite. This is a boy who's in the book, and he was one of the stars of the team. And there's a nice essay in here where he apparently was dreaming of going to the NBA, and his essay is about how when he realized that's not what he was going to do. Kobe Bryant was, when he was co-captain of the team, one of the ABC students was co-captain with him. So that's a selling point for us when we're trying to interest kids in the program.
Championship team.
Yeah,
we won the state championship that year. Now tell me about these two boys.
Well, these are, the kids get an allowance, but they often want some more money or need more money. And I've used to hire kids to help me in the garden, and I work with them. This picture is that. This is somebody who was needing money for his prom, and it kept raining on the weekend, so I decided I needed my railings on the porch. But a lot of board members do this with the kids.
What about holiday times?
Okay, well, there's 4 events that the board and ABC family, the host parents and the academic advisors come to. One is a welcome back party in the fall, and usually at somebody's house. This is a Christmas party at the house. This is a picture of the kids, I think, decorating the tree. And we give them gifts, and and then have cookies, and it's a party.
We have 2 minutes to go before we're ended this segment. How about this situation?
Okay, this is we have a graduation party. We have the poetry night, which we already talked about, and that's also a party. And then usually it's the Sunday before graduation. We have a party at someone's house, usually a board member's house. This is one where I was talking about the two seniors to the the kids, and sometimes parents are there. The kids' parents are there.
We have a couple of seniors, I think.
No, this is a boy that was a basketball star, and this is his brother. This is there for graduation. This is one where I and Mary Story were with two of the seniors in there. And I like this picture because this is at Arnold Field after graduation, and the family's there, some board members, the kids, some of their friends, and to me it says something about how much a community it is that supports the.
Well, Patty, thank you so much for telling us about your book and reminding us that we can get this at Main Point Books in Bryn Mawr. And congratulations on writing the book, and thank you for being with us today. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I think it's important that the program really works. I mean, it helps kids get into the educated middle class and have really different life outcomes than they might have otherwise.
Thank you. This is Ted Goldsboro with Living History. We've been talking with Dr. Patty Krisch about a book that she wrote, A House Alive with Words, which is available at Main Point Books in Bryn Mawr or online. Thank you for joining us.